His name was Kaavan, a name that once meant nothing to the world, but would soon become a symbol of both immense suffering and incredible hope. For over 3 decades, he lived a life of profound loneliness, a shadow of the magnificent creature he was born to be. Kaavan was just a year old, a baby, and he was taken from his home in Sri Lanka and gifted to Pakistan in 1985. He was destined for a life in the Margazar Zoo in Islamabad, a place that would become his prison for the next 35 years. For a while, he wasn't entirely alone. He had a companion named Sahili, another elephant who arrived in the early 1990s. For about 2 decades, they shared their small, barren enclosure, finding comfort in each other's presence. Elephants are incredibly social and intelligent animals. In the wild, they live in tight-knit, multi-generational family herds led by a matriarch. They form bonds that last a lifetime, communicating through a complex array of rumbles, trumpets, and subtle gestures. They mourn their dead, protect their young, and rely on the collective wisdom of the herd to navigate their world. To an elephant, family is not just important, it is everything. It is the very foundation of their psychological and emotional well-being. So for 20 years, Kaavan and Sahili had each other. It wasn't a sprawling savanna, and they weren't surrounded by family, but it was a bond. It was a lifeline in an ocean of concrete and solitude. Then, in 2012, tragedy struck. Sahili, his only companion for 2 decades, died. The official cause was gangrene from a small cut on her leg, a condition that many believed was a result of the poor living conditions and inadequate veterinary care at the zoo. And just like that, Kaavan was utterly, devastatingly alone. The years that followed were a slow, painful descent into despair. The elephant, a creature designed for vast spaces and complex social interaction, was confined to a small, dilapidated enclosure with no stimulation, no proper care, and no one of his kind to connect with. His grief was palpable. He would stand for hours, listlessly swaying his head back and forth, a stereotypical behavior known as zoochosis. This is a common sign of severe psychological distress in captive animals, a repetitive, purposeless movement that serves as a coping mechanism for boredom, stress, and a lack of stimulation. His physical health deteriorated along with his mental state. He became overweight from a poor diet. His feet and nails were cracked and overgrown from standing on hard, unforgiving concrete, and his spirit seemed broken. He was dubbed the world's loneliest elephant. Visitors to the zoo would see this magnificent animal, chained for hours on end, exhibiting clear signs of mental anguish. The chains were so tight they had caused permanent wounds on his legs. The world began to take notice. A young vet student in Pakistan was horrified by what she saw and started an online petition. The story of the lonely, swaying elephant began to spread like wildfire across social media. Animal lovers, activists, and celebrities around the world were moved by Kaavan's plight. The hashtag free Kaavan trended globally. People from all walks of life, from school children to international pop stars like Cher, lent their voices to the campaign. The fight was long and arduous. For years, legal battles were fought and diplomatic pressures were applied. The zoo management was resistant, but the global outcry was relentless. The world was watching, and they would not let Kaavan be forgotten. The argument was simple but profound. An intelligent, social being like an elephant cannot and should not be kept in such isolating and inadequate conditions. It was a form of cruelty, a slow and agonizing torture that was plain for all to see. Finally, in May 2020, a landmark ruling came from the Islamabad High Court. Chief Justice Athor Inala declared that the animals at the Margazar Zoo were being held in cruel conditions and ordered the zoo to be closed. More importantly, he ordered that Kaavan be relocated to a suitable sanctuary. It was a victory that brought tears to the eyes of his supporters worldwide. But the journey was far from over. Moving a 7-ton psychologically damaged bull elephant across continents is a monumental undertaking. A team of experts from the animal welfare organization Four Paws International, led by Dr. Amir Halil, was brought in. Their first task was to win Kaavan's trust. After years of neglect and abuse, he was understandably wary of humans. Dr. Khalil spent weeks with Kaavan. He would talk to him, sing to him. Frank Sinatra songs were a favorite, and offer him his favorite treats. Slowly, painstakingly, he began to build a bond with the broken giant. The team worked to prepare Kaavan for the journey. They had to get him accustomed to the massive transport crate that would be his temporary home for the flight. This required patience, positive reinforcement, and a deep understanding of elephant behavior. They also addressed his urgent medical needs. His diet was changed, and vets began the difficult process of treating his overgrown and infected feet. It was a race against time to get him healthy enough to travel. The destination was the Cambodia Wildlife Sanctuary, a place that seemed like a paradise compared to his concrete cell, spanning 25,000 acres of natural forest. It offered Kaavan something he hadn't experienced since he was a baby: space, freedom, and the company of other elephants. On November 29, 2020, the day finally came. Kaavan was carefully loaded onto a specially chartered cargo plane for his flight to Cambodia. The world watched, holding its breath. The loneliest elephant was on his way to a new life. His arrival in Cambodia was an emotional moment. As he stepped out of his crate and onto the soft earth of the sanctuary, it was as if he was stepping into a different world. He took his first steps of freedom, surrounded by the sights and sounds of the jungle. But the most powerful moment was yet to come. At the sanctuary, he would meet other elephants for the first time in 8 years. The team watched anxiously as he was slowly introduced to one of the female elephants. He reached out his trunk, a gesture of greeting and curiosity. She responded in kind. For the first time in nearly a decade, Kaavan touched another elephant. He let out a low rumble, a sound of communication that had been silent for so long. The transformation in the weeks and months that followed was nothing short of miraculous. The constant head swaying, the sign of his deep-seated trauma, began to fade. He started exploring his new, vast home, foraging for his own food, and bathing in the ponds. He was no longer the world's loneliest elephant. He was part of a community. He was learning to be an elephant again. Kaavan's story is a heartbreaking testament to the psychological toll of solitary captivity on social animals. It shines a stark light on the inadequacy of old-fashioned zoos that prioritize entertainment over the well-being of the complex, intelligent beings in their care. But it is also a powerful story of hope. It shows what can be achieved when compassionate people come together and refuse to accept cruelty. It proves that it's never too late for a second chance for a life of dignity and peace. Sanctuaries like the one in Cambodia are vital. They provide a refuge for animals who have suffered in captivity, allowing them to heal both physically and emotionally in an environment that respects their natural needs. By supporting sanctuaries and advocating for better conditions for all captive animals, we can help ensure there are no more Kaavans. Every animal deserves a life free from suffering, a life where they can express their natural behaviors and feel the comfort of companionship. Kaavan's journey from a lonely prison to a life of freedom is a powerful reminder of our responsibility to the other beings who share our planet. Let his story inspire us all to speak up for those who cannot speak for themselves. Thank you for watching. If you were moved by Kaavan's story and want to see more content that champions kindness and fairness to all living beings, please subscribe to our channel, Be Kind Fair.